Oh man, did we just go live with
Hey,
that?
hey! Welcome again. We've got another episode of Cardboard Conversations. We've got MTG Gaming Bob and a special guest for the evening. Give it up for AshenWingz. It's Alex. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Doing good. How are all you doing? Hopefully everybody in the chat's having a fun time. I know I am, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight, I'm sure. So I'm excited.
Oh, Decoy, you are absolutely 100% correct. That's how we were rolling live, and I was already fired up and juiced behind the scenes talking about it.
Yeah, you can tell. He's had his coffee, so have I. You know, it's going to be a big one, so stay tuned. Make sure you've got yourself a drink and a snack. So I think this might be a long one.
Well, it may be. It might be short for some people.
I guess.
I see I'm dead set this week on alienating the entire audience out there.
Depends on how fast we can get them to swarm out, right?
But I'm saying bring it.
In case the viewers haven't heard, this past week we got big news about Magic the Gathering's 30th anniversary. Now there's two sides to this, two different items to talk about. We've got a collector's type product that is coming out with 4 small packs for $9.99 plus shipping and handling and taxes. So for $1,100, you get 4 packs. So you get a chance at some old cards in a different type of setup, a new frame and a different back. And then we've also got a Secret Lair 30th version coming out with 30 individually wrapped single cards. A lot of new versions coming out. We're getting Shark Typhoon reprint in a totally rad, awesome VHS version. So, I'm just super excited about all this. Alex, what do you want to get into first as our guest? You go ahead, lay us on.
Oh gosh. Well, I feel like we probably shouldn't dive too deep into the hornet's nest just yet. I would love to and hope to tonight make a video on it, but the Secret Lair anniversary, the countdown calendar. I genuinely, there's several reasons why I want it. All of them being positive. I personally don't think this is a skip, because the last time they made a Secret Lair be limited edition and only made a certain amount, everybody got upset when they couldn't get it. But the people who did get it made at least 4 times the profit on their product. I have 2 of them sitting in a box right next to me. So the anniversary countdown calendar for Secret Lair is probably going to be one of the better thing. And it's the cards in it are good. Just the 7 that we've seen have been enough to promote enough of it to be like, I want this. Like, the art's great. The cards inside are fantastic. Chrome Mox, Shark Typhoon, Necropotence. Insane. So I absolutely think that it's a great pickup. If you want my personal opinion on it. But of course, there are a lot of people who do not like Secret Lairs. And frankly, if that is the case and you are so adamant on the hill that you don't want to ever touch Secret Lairs in your life, it's on you, right? You get to do that. But this is something I'm going to enjoy with my girlfriend. She loves the Secret Lair arts. And I'm going to at least I would like to at least buy a few and utilize one of them as is. It's a 1-a-day pack opening that you get to enjoy as the countdown to Magic 30 begins.
Chrome Mox should be reprinted in Dominaria. Well, if shoulds, woulds, and coulds were candies and nuts, I'd be fat and crazy. I don't know how the thing goes.
Well, welcome, Mr. Stumble, sir, and anybody else who might be here from Dual Brain. Love the guy. Can't wait to see him in Vegas in a couple weeks here. I would like to kind of I'd like to kind of piggyback on some of what Alex was saying. First off, I do agree that this is. Let me back this up for just a second. So Secret Lairs lately have been very disappointing to me. Like the value is just not there. When Secret Lairs first came out, you were getting like $150 worth of cards in like $29 packages, right? If you go back and look at like the first year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they rapidly started making the relative EV right out of the box, right around the same as the price or less than the actual price. Like, meaning that the cards weren't even worth as much as what you were paying for the Secret Lair. Not on the secondary market at any rate. And let's be real. That's what they're doing. They're dipping directly into the secondary market with this. Let's not, they're selling single cards, 5 single cards at like a $50 price point they're cashing in on the secondary market.
And I think that's a really good point as well, is we're seeing with some of the different ways that they are trying to get product out to consumers. And this new Magic 30th anniversary for $1,000 is one of those things, a way to get some collectible items out to customers, a different way to sell, as it were. And I think Secret Lair was an entry into that, to get some specialty cards into hands of people who are really dedicated and wanted to go out and get it. You know, it's not easy to pick up. You don't get this stuff at your LGS.
This one's going to be kind of different, and I didn't hear Alex mention this. And it's going to be the same for both the commemorative. I believe Alex corrected me on that one. Thank you. Actually, you corrected me on two things, and I want to thank you for that, because I felt kind of stupid. That they did mention new players, number one, in their thing. I don't believe that they're marketing it aimed at new players, and let's just be very clear about that. I think they're just lumping new players in there and maybe new collectors. Let's be more specific about that. And there are new collectors like Decoy in the house who I'm going to just spill the beans, and I'm sorry, Decoy, that I'm going to share private conversations with the public here, but he's one of those people that is planning to buy it, that is not going out there and telling everybody he's buying it. You know, I've seen other people, if you watch Dual Brain's channel yesterday, Josh was talking about, look, there's a lot more people out there with more money than most of the people sitting in these channels. I hate to say it. And they're going to buy the shit out of it.
People our way. Hey, big ups. Thanks, Ed. And thanks to everybody who's hanging out with us tonight.
The thing I really want to cover, though, with this Secret Lair, because it's not being talked about a lot, and I think it is important to mention that these are being pre-printed. They don't do that with Secret Lairs, right? So are the 30th commemorative boxes. So what that means is the print run, they're not going to wait to see the audience response to see how much they're buying of it. So I truly do believe these are both going to be limited print run. Do you guys remember the last thing that they just did? And it was recently, where they did the pre-printing limited print run beforehand, and it got shut down early. And there was a lot of people saying, I didn't get one. I wanted one and didn't get it. Do you remember what it was?
Was that the Festival in the Box?
The Festival in a Box. Absolutely. Yep. You're a sharp guy. Tell me, I remember hearing that same thing, because
listen, I was there,
and they shut the Secret Lair down too, though, right? That all was like, boom, you didn't get in on it. So those might even, I don't like the Humpty Dumpty egg thing with it personally. I'm gonna get it at, I think I get it for free, actually. I'm not sure, because
it should come with your ticket. It's because you got the Black Lotus one, right? So
what I'm saying is, this is sort of a different model, right? When you've done Secret Lairs before, you would order it and they would wait to get all the orders in. And I'm still waiting to get my Heads I Win, Tails You Lose decks.
Which was delayed again, I think, right?
Oh, geez. I don't even want to talk about them. Good thing I wasn't actually looking to play with the damn things. They're just going to go on my shelf. But you know, be aware, folks. And let me be clear. Whether you like what I've been saying over the past week about the commemorative edition, both the Secret Lair, the countdown calendar, and this commemorative edition, which are both coming out soon, are both pre-printed, and they will sell out. Make up your mind whether you want it before the sale, folks, because I don't think either one of them is going to be up for long. And a lot of people, it's like they can't win. If they print it into the dirt, it's like everybody says, oh, print it into oblivion. If they make it too short, they go, I couldn't get one. Fuck them.
Right.
Like, how do they win? So
I think, in all honesty, you know, as much as, you know, Moxman's going to hate hearing this, that they did really well with Time Spiral Remastered. It was a very good mix of,
I liked it,
not being available, but being able to get out later. I think they had a fine enough release, even though people wanted more. There was just the right amount, and it stayed sealed for a lot of people. So I think that was a good enough release. And I'm not sure if that's how we're going to see some of this stuff coming. Like the Warhammer decks, with how limited the foil versions of those are, who knows? Maybe that's the same kind of deal.
Yeah,
I think those are coming out afterwards, though. Like, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I think those came out after the orders were made. I'm not sure. At any rate, the Secret Lair certainly is, and it already looks like it's going to be higher EV than what you're going to spend. At $150, I'm shocked, because you have almost $150 worth of cards in just the 7 that they've shown. So unless everything else is like a 10-cent card, which I doubt.
Yeah, no, it'll be
a good one for the value. Folks.
It'll be so good. I mean, I do genuinely think that is, and that was again, like you brought up, Bob, that was a gripe of a lot of people when Here Be Dragons was a thing, right? Everybody was so used to the regular secret lair standard of you had like a month to put in however many pre-orders you wanted to make for these secret layers, and that was it. And then eventually the sale ended, the pre-orders ended, and you got what you got. But with Here Be Dragons, with Festival in a Box, it was you had to be there. If you weren't signed up for newsletters, if you weren't signed up to be there in early access, if you weren't signed up for any of this stuff, you had a lower chance of getting to this product before other people did. Because when a lot of people hear, like in the Here Be Dragon situation, if a lot of people hear that only 10,000 of this product is going to be printed, that's a bell going off in a lot of people's heads.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, this is absolutely something that I need to pick up. I have never done such a heavy investment into Magic than I did with Here Be Dragons, and I only bought 2. And just because 1, I like dragons. 2, I like the showcase arts from AFR, and 3, it comes with a bunch of other stuff too. It came with like the deck box and sleeves and a little life counter, and the deck box actually looks like it's pretty good quality. I haven't opened any of them yet, but like if you guys have seen the deck box, it comes with a little dice tray in the side that has the number out of 1,000 that you've purchased. It was really cool, but a lot of these collector's items, you kind of have to pay attention to the market. And if Wizards does anyone a service and say that these are going to be limited product, personally, don't be upset when you are not there in the first hour or 2, because that was on you. You had to do your research into it.
Well, and with this one, like I'm saying, that's why I'm saying it and repeating myself over and over and over again here. And that is that they're changing the method, right? We're used to a certain way of buying it. So in this one, just be aware. They're changing the methods in which you're buying this, meaning you have to get in immediately. This is not FOMO. Now, FOMO would be like, buy it or you're going to miss out now. You have time to think about it, but think about it now, right? Start thinking about, do I really want this? Is it really going to be worth it to me? This is not going to be one you're going to be able to wait until, well, I think they said they are going to spoil it like a week before. Is that what it was? Like on the 27th?
Yeah, it was right around the beginning of Magic 30, because it drops on the 1st. So on November 1st, it will drop.
So just be prepared for this one, guys. I think it looks like there's going to be value in it. It sounds like it's going to be, be there when it opens up, or you'll probably miss out on this one. If you really want it, set aside the time, set, your reminder on Alexa to, hey, secret lair. If it's something that's for you.
Speaking of setting a reminder and setting aside some time, I want to thank everybody coming over from Ed's channel. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It's 7 p.m. on Eastern on a Saturday, so you've tuned into Cardboard Conversation. So thank you all for coming over and joining us this evening. And, thank you to Alex for joining me, and Bob as well. Both of these guys make incredible Magic content, so tune into both their channels. Links are down below, so, check it out.
Yeah.
And Decoy, absolutely. Don't give away my secret sauce there with the whole Mythic Edition. I think people are sleeping on those. And understand, Mythic Edition.
They are.
there were only 12. I think it was 12,000 printed.
I think it was 10 or 12. But I think what I remember hearing that the Ravnica Allegiance one got 20. I'd have to check that.
I'd have to go look again. But
somebody had complained, because I made a video about how like this is a product that is essentially what most would consider a modern reserve list kind of product, and the people who aren't buying them up, right? Obviously, a lot of people are very focused on the original reserve list cards, all the stuff from early 90s. So that is where a lot of people's. Let's go.
Let's be specific about those, though, right? When you say reserve list, it's a pseudo reserve list, right? For those Mythic editions, in case you're not aware, go check them out. There are Mythic editions for at least 3 that I'm aware of, and that would be War of the Spark, Ravnica Allegiance, and Guilds of Ravnica. And they have special Planeswalkers. Now, you get the same set of Planeswalkers in every box, but at 12,000 each, that means there are only 12,000 of those special copies of those in existence, period. That's pretty damn rare when you think about it in terms of Magic cards today, and they're really sweet looking. I actually bought one for a friend for a gift, and I've seen them firsthand, and they're beautiful, beautiful foiling, flat as can be. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous card, and I wish they would do that more. I don't know why they don't return to that foiling. That was pretty amazing. But those versions of those planeswalkers, that's it. That's the only place you're going to get them, and there were only 12,000 of those printed. So, wow,
there's definitely a very high premium to some of those limited runs, and I think that's something we're going to see further as we go into some of the different products that Magic's going to come out with in the next couple of months, the next couple of years. I think especially with Brothers War and some of our returns to other planes, especially with Ixalan and stuff like that, we might well get some more very interesting expedition type stuff. Maybe we see more inventions, and it would be very interesting to see some of the different formats that they're coming out with. I mean,
I'd like to see more
they've
Mythic
gone
Edition.
crazy with it, and I could see a lot more of that coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think that a lot of what is going to move forward is they're going to, well, hopefully, a lot of the product created in regular standard sets is very heavily player based, right? It works well in draft, works well, and that's what they've said in their last state of design, is that they're looking to make all of the cards for this next like year and a half or whatever be good and viable in just about every single format, right? Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Vintage, Legacy, Commander, Tiny Leaders, whatever, more specifically probably the stuff that they actually back. But I think that's going to be a good thing there. But I do believe that we are seeing a lot more of the limited product. You're only going to find X amount of this. And I think a lot of people have been wanting that for a long time. It wasn't until we got the Neon Ink Hitotsugus, right? I mean, that sold up like hotcakes. Everybody was like, yes, a chase card. Finally, everybody who's got a chase card, we can actually open this product, and the second we open this thing, have a freak out moment and go, whoa, this this $200+ card. I can't believe I just got that. And you couldn't get that kind of joy out of opening something like Guilds of Ravnica, or like Core 2021, or Throne of Eldraine, or you couldn't do that. And so but we consider that a gambler's premium. I work for a place that does a lot of gambling, like the people at there gamble. It's awful to see people throw away their money into slot machines and have that be wasted. It's different if you're going to buy something and at least continue it as an investment. But I mean, that we can get into a whole financial talk about that. But I mainly want to say that there's going to be a collector focused part of Magic and a player focused part of Magic. And I feel like they're going to kind of hopefully try to parallel the both of them to kind of keep both sides happy in regards to the future of Magic.
Well, it's funny,
even though Pack Opening Addict was doing a little bit of trolling on Bob on Thursday over on DJ's channel, he did make a good point, though, that there is also the investor that's really interested in Magic the Gathering, separate than the collector, someone who's just thinking about the pure monetary standpoint, not looking to chase down those cards that, really stick out. There's nothing special to them. It's just about getting the price point, buying on the dips. Especially nowadays.
I'd like to take a second here, since we got dual brain. Yes, people, especially everybody. Thank you so much, Ed, for sending people over here tonight. Please, if you like what you're hearing tonight, hit that like button and go check out my channel. I've got some interesting things on there, and AshenWingz as well. This is a collaborative effort here. We're not part of Pat's channel, though we appear often on it. Please give us a look, a poke, a like, a subscribe, and let us know what you think. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal the show there, but I agree about your point about the investors. Here's where I run into issues when I talk to people personally, and I spend a lot of time talking in the community. I mean, you guys have seen my name around at all. I spend way more time on other people's channels than my own. And I talk to people in the chat channels. I talk to them texting on the phone. I talk to them in Discord, and in a lot of the conversations, I get the distinct feeling that many people are trying to smush together, and this is where we run into problems. They're trying to smush together their investor side, their collector side, their player side, and they want it all, to be in the same pot. Well, it's kind of like paint. When you do that, you just end up with muddy paint. And you need to really think about when you're purchasing, because it really comes down to the purchasing, when you're spending the money, no matter which one of those three you're talking about, why you're spending that money, which aspect of you, the collector, the investor, the player, are you trying to appease? And that should set the limits that you're spending, the product that you're buying, the type, why you're doing it. And if you're simply doing it just to crack to get money for like the gambler's premium that Alex was talking about, at least understand that as well. And I think all of us do it. I do it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm above any of this. I just try to quantify that in my head before I buy, crack, open, invest, talk about. I'm trying to put that in the neat little boxes and talk to it from that aspect, or approach it from that aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hopefully
it's a
that
great way
made
to look
sense.
into it. Yeah, it's a great way. It's a great way to look into it. I think because really you do have to figure it out, right? Like, am I buying these triomes because I want to complete a set, or am I buying them because I want to invest in land? You know, you have to figure out which one it is. And I think the other interesting thing about investing right now is investing is at a kind of a great place, because if you don't like the choices that Magic is making with this anniversary edition or whatever, and you want to, bail out, if you're a smart investor, you have assets in other things already. So if you lose Magic, you're not losing a fortune. You may want to take a break and not be in it anymore, and whatever happens. And if that's the case, you could sell off some of your product. And when you think about selling off some of your product, think about all the other investors who are very, what's the word? I guess bullish, right? For this, they now have an opportunity to pick up product that they normally wouldn't. Collectors will have an opportunity for this because a lot of people are fire selling off all of their older stuff because they think Magic is dying, and they think this is like the most chaotic that is ever going, the most chaos that Magic is ever going to see in its life. And so a lot of people are taking this opportunity to pick stuff up that they have not previously. And this kind of refreshes the market in a way, subconsciously, I guess, according to all of that. But
yeah, and I think that's a great point, what you're looking to get and the reasons behind it. If you're looking to get just some cards because you want to have a bunch of generous gifts, if you buy them 5 or 6 at a time, is it because you think they're going to go up from $1 to 2 or 3, and then are you going to gain money on it, or do you just want to put it in a bunch of decks? Are you getting Anointed Procession because it's cheap right now, or do you think you're going to get 2 or 3 of them because you think it'll be expensive later? Do you need to complete a set? Like Alex was saying, the triomes, depending on what kind of versions you want. Are you trying to trick out a deck, make sure everything's foiled out, or have some cool showcase versions? There's a lot to, buying Magic cards. And there's also a lot to not even buying the Magic cards themselves. If you're looking to get proxies like I do, every time a new set comes out, it's adding new fodder to my deck. So there's a lot to be said about changing out and modernizing some of your decks as well. Keeping up with the formats, it's difficult, especially with power creep. We're seeing every set coming out and one's coming up still. There's a lot to the game, and I love it. It's always exciting. Something to talk about, something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that speaks to like the people that are mentioning, like Clay saying Magic is not dying. Agreed. So long as I've tried to define many times, what does it mean when a card game dies? So they say that the Lord of the Rings card game from 1995, which most of you have never heard of, never seen, don't know anything about. I'm talking about the one from Ice. Not there have been like 5 different games made, but the one from 1995, I think, is when it first came out. People still play that. I mean, I have 2 boxes of the OG, like original first set sealed. I bought them for $50 and they didn't do anything because the game was dead. Nobody played it. Nobody even heard of it. Now they're around that $500 mark just because I refuse to let go of them, and they're sitting sealed on a shelf up in my loft.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because people play it. There's a reason that they're $500, because people are still playing it, even in smaller numbers. So what does it really mean for Magic to die? I think so long as anybody in this audience, or a number of you, don't let it die, meaning you're still going to play it regardless of whether they print cards, then it doesn't die. And the cards that everybody else has have some value, right? So it would be very difficult to kill Magic. Now, do I think that these kind of moves are going to make the paper hands fold pretty quickly? Yup. And on the collector's editions, especially in the international collector's editions, which you're seeing people beat up on, which I've never thought were a great investable to begin with because the card quality kind of sucks. But will those get hurt? I mean, I know I heard Rudy say that, no, they won't. I kind of disagree with that. I think that these are too similar. But
It's
here's
so
the crazy
funny
thing.
that Coach says this. I think it was Rudy that was talking about exactly this comment here. You know, by putting out a product that's not for people, much like when you go to a restaurant and they've got $100 dry aged tomahawk steak that no one ever actually buys. When you get a $30 calamari plate, you think it's actually a good deal and it's worthwhile. You know, when we see boxes are now $130, $150, you know, coming out, hey, that's not bad. When some products are, you know, $3, $4, $1,000. Yeah, it's not too bad to buy a draft box for $250. It's a remaster set. I'm getting a deal.
Yeah, I think from that standpoint, I don't know. I might be on a weird point with that because I get the analogy. But if I went into a restaurant looking for a $100 tomahawk steak, or if I went into a restaurant and I wanted steak, and instead they were able to serve me a calamari for $70 less, well, I would probably get the calamari, but I don't know if I'd love it, right? So I think a lot of it comes down to what people want, right? If I look at this product and yeah, I love the concept of at any point owning a collector's edition or a anniversary edition version of any of these cards, but do I personally, and like, is it so deep down in my soul that I'm like, I need this or I'm not going to be able to sleep at night? No. And I think that's why I continue to look towards other things that I may have more of a palate for. And everybody's got their own different style of collecting and investing and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people who are upset at this product are upset for the wrong reasons. And that tends to just snowball. Rage is a thing that this world is very used to now. And I can't fathom it's so easy to just snowball that into other things. But do I think this is a product for everybody? No, I don't. I don't think it's for me. I probably don't think it's for most of the players. But, you know, once those singles hit the market and somebody's able to buy a $50 tropical island that their playgroup is cool with them using,
I don't think that's going to happen.
I hope it. I hope
it's
it
going to be worth
happen.
too much.
You know, when I heard, I think it was this morning, I was actually watching Mike Hatcher, Perps there, Magic Historian. You know, as much as I dislike the guy, I love how he puts out content. So I'm shook up about him, and I am about Magic 30th, especially with the land cycle, the Commander Advisory Committee, the rules for Commander, the people who make the format, as it were. They've now said that the lands and other cards coming out of this reprint set are not viable for Commander games, and you have to get it okay by your playgroup. Well, shit, if we're going to play with cards that they don't want to accept and we have to get okayed by our playgroup, I'm just going to print them off a website, get some nice high quality stuff, you know. But yeah, Bob, grab out those tropicals. Why don't you? You know,
here's the thing. Here's the craziest part about it. Who gives a shit what the Commander Committee says?
Really, it's a casual format
for like tournaments.
Yeah, so,
people are playing this in their home, so
it's on that point where I say that, you know, what's it matter what cards we're playing with or what kind of company they're coming from? If we don't care about, you know, it's our play group, it's our pod, it's the rule zero. Make sure everybody's here to have a fun time, that we're all competing in a healthy manner, and that we're looking to have excitement and some adventure in the way that these decks interact. And it's not all about the money. I can't think of the last time I've actually traded cards with somebody.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I think that that's more due to the massive amount of product that's coming out. To be honest, like people, they've, in my opinion, I've said it several times, by and large, they have killed the full set collecting aspect of the game. Like, there's too many variants, too much product. Nobody can keep up with that. Like that's that's just I don't even think, LGSs could keep up with that. So, full sets are just basically dead at this point. And because of that, a healthy part in my experience in the past of trading was the fact that you would trade cards that are good playable cards and valuable for some shit that was just complete bunk because, well, at least it finished your set. Nobody thinks that way anymore. Nobody cares if they finish off their sets anymore. So it's unfortunate that that's sort of a direction that it went. And then that starts getting into why are they printing all these garbage cards that will never see play in any format. They print some cards that are so bad. It's like people won't draft it. They're not going to play it in limited, even if it's in their limited packs. One of those cards that gets cut because there's just so many garbage cards that they print in sets nowadays. Like, what is the purpose of printing them?
Yeah,
if people aren't collecting sets. There's literally no purpose for them.
Right. And and as somebody who would hope to one day collect sets, right? I do realize that a lot of that is, it's not within reach. I don't make six figures or, at least $500,000 a salary. I don't do any of that. It's not going to be anything that's going to be feasible right now and may not be feasible ever in my life. But what I am noticing is you look at things like, I don't know, let's take a shot at Kaldheim, right? If you wanted to get an entire master set of Kaldheim, it would cost you well over $1,000. You know how much it costs to get a full set of the Dark? $400. And
oh, geez,
at least all of the Dark is 4 Horsemen, right? It's older product. It can be used in older formats. I have recently learned about the old school format that apparently also allows people to use the original collector's edition and international collector's edition cards in like tournaments, but old school is a casual format as well. So it's just one of those things. There's a lot of cards being printed nowadays that don't matter. And even though they don't matter, they still have to be priced somewhere. And I'm curious to see how many of these over, 350 card sets and including their 7 variants of every card are going to be going for 20 years from now,
Well, yeah, I was about to say, hey, coach, same thing. Like if you find Alex, if you find a $400 set of the Dark, you let me know.
Is it not? Hold on. I literally have the thing here. Hold on. I got you.
Last I checked, when we say near mint, but yes. I mean, I would be surprised if you could actually find it. I don't care what the sites say. Good luck finding a complete set for $400. But at any rate, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. If I was to recommend, like just passionately, if you're going to collect sets, I would stop collecting full sets in the silver era. Like that's where I would stop at the end of the silver era. And even at that, I would avoid collecting any foil full sets of any set. Like that's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of buying and selling, Bob, do you want to talk about also sleeving and shredding?
I did not bring it up this week. I'm having to watch my blood pressure this week from screaming at people about not proxies. So I did not sleeve, sell, shred this week. So my apologies to the audience who's looking forward to that. We'll return to that next week. I'll promise I'll have a set. If you have a set ready, I'm willing to watch and
I actually do. Yep,
I would love to see it.
I've got pre-ready. So let me go ahead and blow my big head up here. Switch over to OBS. Do some shenanigans on the clicking.
How about we explain sleeve, sell, shred? Do you want me to do that, or do you want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, folks. So what is sleeve, sell, shred? It is basically marry, fuck, kill. So you're going to sleeve one card, meaning you're going to sleeve it up, put it in your collection, and you keep it forever. You're going to sell one of the other two to make some money, and you are going to shred that last one. Now, you can pick any of these for any of the reasons that you want, whether you just hate the card or you're just trying to approach it analytically and make the most money you can. But Yeah, that's what the 3 cards are going to represent: marry, fuck, kill, or sleeve, sell, shred. So let's get into it. Pat, can you put up the poll? It's going to be in the form of a poll, so you all get to participate. We want to hear what you guys have to say about which one of these. Are we going to start with sleeve? We typically do.
Yes.
So sleeve, which one of these are you married to? Which one of these are you keeping forever? Going to be in your collection, whether you just love the art, you want to play with it, whatever.
Here we go. Now, I've got to say, I've played all 3 of these cards in multiple decks, in multiple games, and had them all pay off very well. Now, the first time I ever played Gift of Estates, everyone in the play group instantly had to take a read on it. Such a good card. And because it says 3 planes, you're actually able to go through and get some of those tasty triumphs. Or if you're such a fucking baller, get out some of those dual lands. And I mean, Smothering Tithe. Who hasn't been asked if they want to pay the tithe? And land tax. Jeez Louise, just
it's
so
funny because people never pay the tax on Smothering Tithe, and they should and usually do pay it on Ristic Study.
Some people are so finicky, you know? Wow. And thank you, everybody, for popping in tonight. I hope you're enjoying tonight's content. If you like stuff like this, tune in next week, and we'll also see you Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we typically show up and do a lot of talking head stuff. So this is not going to be a lot of shenanigans and a lot of the spinning wheels and party poppers. And I'm sorry, we're not like a big giveaway thing. We just like to talk shit about Magic all the time. All right. Well, I mean, we have a good number of people voting, though. I see that there are 20 people watching, and we only have 10 votes. So please, folks, if you're watching, wake up, get back in from the kitchen doing your dishes, and vote. Which one of these jokers do you want to keep? Though I think it's starting to be a landslide here.
Oh, nice play on words. I like that, Bob. Someone's been watching EDH Rec and their dad jokes.
I am a dad joke.
Wow,
here we go. We got 13 votes. How about we say we give it 30 more seconds, folks? You got 30 more seconds to get off the toilet and get in here, stop toking the bowl, and smash that button for which one of these you want to keep. Just 30 more seconds. Which one of these is near and dear enough to you, or you like the art, or you want the monies, that you want to keep that joker?
And Dual Brain, I sent to your email account a link to tonight's stream. So if you want, you can also pop in if there's anything you want to talk about with us here tonight.
Sweet. So I think we can go ahead and close it up. I think we got a winner here.
Oh, absolutely. It seems as though land tax by a landslide is going to be our winner. And, I've got to say, I just haven't had it pay off as some other cards just seem to do a little bit better for me. But hey, that's
what the audience has spoken, and land tax is it. I actually wrestled. I voted. I did not vote for land tax though, but I wrestled with it. It was between land tax and Smothering Tithe, and I look at these like, which one am I most likely to play with? Well, I have Smothering Tithe in a bunch of my decks. Yeah, I am that degenerate guy. Yes, you will be paying for me not to have tokens. All right, Pat. So I guess we're getting on to the sell portion of sleeve, sell, shred, or marry, fuck, kill. Which one of these are you fucking? Which one of these are you selling off? Who goes to market? Who puts the money in your pocket? I think that's going to be.
So, Bob, it's so funny you say that. I just recently learned, well, 2 things. Number 1, apparently I'm an idiot for not having already known this. But 2, the old nursery rhyme, this little piggy went to market, it was getting slaughtered and made into bacon.
Nice. I love bacon.
I had no clue until recently.
A lot of those nursery rhymes are not as joyful as one would think.
Oh, like Ring Around the Rosie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it supposedly has to do with
the bubonic plague, I think.
Horrible disease, yeah. And
like that meant you got
also to all of you other Americans out here, did you know that in 2021, 7 people died of the Black Plague in America?
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
like, it's not something we eradicated. The bubonic plague is something people still die of in America. Like, it's like every 2 months, somebody dies of the Black Plague in the US.
All right. Well, it looks like we got a clear winner. I don't even think we need to keep this joker open unless you guys think that we do. I think that we
Oh,
can
goodness, I
just
don't
go
think you
ahead
should.
and say that the smothering tides smothered the estates.
Oh, goodness, Bob, you are on a roll tonight.
So people are selling off their smothering tithes to make a few bucks, probably around that $20 mark at this point. I think that's probably what it's at.
Right? Maybe they're going ahead and they're upgrading to the new version that we've seen coming out of Double Masters 22. Some very tasty artwork on that one.
So we are shredding the gift by default.
Oh, such a sad thing. Well,
I haven't ever
luckily,
played
it's
with it.
such
It's
an
funny you mentioned
accessible card. Such an easy card to get into. Very simple. You see it in a whole lot of printing, so you got bunches of them. Shred one or two. Much like an Everquill Phoenix, you've got extras.
Is tonight pre-release for Unfinity?
Yeah,
No,
technically, yesterday was the first
yesterday
day,
was
but
full release, Bob.
yeah,
Oh, it's not there's no pre-release. It's just full
no,
release.
yeah, no pre-release for Unfinity. So
Boo! I ordered a case, so I
Hmm.
plan to play that with friends.
it'll
I
be
absolutely
fun.
do.
I hear it's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I hear there's I think the problem is that a lot of people are going into it thinking that the cards are just going to be able to explain themselves. And I've heard a lot of people are genuinely confused trying to draft Unfinity because
Fantastic, love
have
it.
you ever had any kind of experience like that before? Like it's
So on
it's gonna be
top of
crazy.
that, I'm gonna pass out gummies when before we get started to
Yeah,
make it even
exactly. Yeah,
better. Drink up
yeah,
and eat a gummy and pop some Unfinity because that'll be
absolutely.
what?
Oh, it'd be an insane time. I think it's going to be so fun. I love the concept of Infinity. I don't know. I don't. I think I'm mainly in it, obviously, for Galaxy Shocks, probably like most people. And I'm probably
Well,
just going to buy those singles, which are I think those are dropping a little bit now, if I recall. I haven't checked the market
they
yet.
are.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
lower than I think they should be. So
Yeah.
we'll wait and see where these. I think these. Oddly enough, I have a feeling that these are going to buck the trend. I think that the trend is things come out and they go down. I think the Galaxy Shocks or the Spocklands, as Pat likes to call them,
It's such a great
uh,
name. I bet
that
it's better than Tricycle Lands.
they're pretty rare. I mean, they're not that common.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
especially the Galaxy foil versions of them. And
Yeah.
I think that these things are gonna. I have a feeling these are gonna climb back up because I saw them like I don't think they're gonna
That's,
hold that price.
to me, what's really
Yeah.
funny is that, well, number one, I don't have any data. I haven't seen any of these for an extended amount of time, the Galaxy foils. So I'm not sure about their curling. If these things pringle out, super disappointing. And
Yep.
that's something I wanted to touch on with the Warhammer 40K decks. The ones that are, $200 or $300 for a single collector's version deck in the Surge foil. I saw Pleasant Kenobi open one. The whole deck absolutely curled right out the box. Not
Oh, yeah.
even, a week into the release. Heck, yesterday was the actual release. And this video came out 2 or 3 days ago. So right out the box, you're already getting a damaged product. So tough stuff. And I mean, going forward, if these Galaxy foils are going to curl in the same way, I don't know if it's going to be such a sought after thing, but they are definitely tasty looking.
Right. They look
so-
really, really good. And
Yeah.
I think
I love
it-
Coach's. Sorry, I love
What do you
Coach's
say?
idea for sleep cell shred down there, but
Magic 35, 3 boxes of Double Masters 2022 or a collector box of Infinity. That is a nice one. Also, for the record, I saw this post online today, and I wanted to make this explicitly clear. I'm sure most of us here have common sense.
Cool. Let me know.
If you're attempting to put a sticker onto your card, make sure you have a sleeve on it because these stickers are known to rip the foiling off of cards. Because I saw a picture of some idiot who put a sticker on their Surge Foil Swarmlord and it ripped the foiling right off because they weren't wearing a sleeve. They weren't wearing a sleeve. The card was not in a sleeve.
weren't wearing their sleeve.
Wear the sleeve.
Oh, that's
So
ridiculous.
don't attempt to add stickers unless you wrap your cards, okay? Because this is, I mean, a lot of people, I would imagine, have the sense to sleeve their decks when they play. And there was some talk about some people being like, oh, well, like the rules say that it has to actually be on the card. But I don't think any judge, I don't think anybody who's doing any of that is going to be like, it's not directly on the cardboard. It doesn't actually count. Because Rosewater also said you could use little things of paper and stuff, so it doesn't matter.
You're playing Unfinity. I'm not going to hold it against you if you're not quite sticking to the rules as written.
Exactly. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, I don't know.
Let's talk about the Spocks for just a second longer here, because even Dude Man said he believes they're going to bounce back, and he mentioned a good thing, and that's, look, Unfinity is not the product for everybody. Right. We talk about that a lot here. I mean, we are all about, pick your spots. I mean, if there was sort of a channel meme, it would be pick your spots. And that means,
yeah, right. Choose your punches.
We don't think you should be out there buying everything. Love Rudy. Don't agree with that concept. For whatever various reasons, don't buy all Magic products. They're not all made for all people. And I'm sorry if you're offended by that. I don't mean to offend you. But that being said, Unfinity is not going to be for a large part of the Magic audience, right? It just isn't. So I don't think it's going to sell tremendously well. It may sell better than what was the last one? Unhinged. I don't even consider Unsanctioned a real set. But
absolutely,
yeah, I think that Unfinity will not sell tremendously well, which means that I have a feeling it's going to be short run, and that's going to make these Galaxy Spocks really rare for the Galaxy foils. It's going to make any version of the Spock lands pretty rare. So, I don't think they're going to hold these low prices that we're already seeing. They're unexpectedly low for me, and I have no position in it. I don't plan to buy them for any real reason other than I like having them. But don't sell these Spock lands short. Like, if you get them, I recommend holding on to them. Like, if however you get them,
absolutely
hold them. I don't think they're gonna get printed in anywhere close to the quantity that the recent fetch lands were.
No, they definitely are. They're definitely going to be really good. And I think that's the thing. That's the beauty and the curse of really, really beautiful looking cards being printed in a set that most probably won't care about.
And that's something I wanted to touch on as well. These are probably the best looking versions of these cards as well.
Oh, yeah. Even just non-foil, they look great.
Yeah.
I actually am beginning to prefer non-foil for almost everything. Like, I realize it's a premium.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am. I mean, I like the full art ones. I like the different arts and whatnot. The etched are okay. I can handle it, but they're still, I think they've got the ink still too dark.
Yeah.
Because they don't curl, and I'm not really worried about the delicacy of them. But they're just dark, right? The art just seems a little bit muted to me. They're not bright and vibrant like, the image behind me. And if you have the Bob Ross secret lair, I don't know if any of you guys have those. Love that.
I don't, but they are really cool looking.
Wish I had bought way more copies of it. I bought one foil, one non-foil. And the non-foil is just much more vibrant than the foil version, and it's not even etched. So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a groundswell. I hear this often that people are like, I don't want the foil sets anymore. And looking at, the 40K, good reason. I'd hate to drop $800 on a set of what are they? Are they even 800 anymore? I heard they were 1,200 last.
Yeah, they're at like 860 right now. They were at 1,000 only like a week ago. But
for a taco shell, I mean, good lord, it's like oof.
And it's not even like it's an okay thing. But that's the thing. I think there are a lot of people who also start into Magic the Gathering, and I think that once you there's a lot of influential people in the world, and being a content creator and all of us, we have words to say, and we need to be honest about our thoughts, and we need to really bring that forward, but I think there are a lot of influential people who see the word collector on something, and after seeing several videos on this is the best way to make money in Magic the Gathering, they're going to see the word collector on something, and then they're going to hear a couple videos from a couple other people, and they're going to go, well, this is a limited product. Most stores can't even get it. The friggin' professor just made a video reviewing them, and he could not even buy one from his LGS. They didn't have any. So everybody who hears that is, or an influential or influenced person would be able to hear that and go, oh, well, then that means they have to be worth something. I'll drop $800 on them. Sure. But we're not sure how many of these are going to get, super curled. Not that curling is like the end of the world. There are plenty of people who make processes to uncurl their cards, but you don't want to have to do that. Like, it's kind of dumb for a company to have that happen and then expect the players to fix their own issue. So,
well, to that point, though, every method I've heard of uncurling, the cards always recurl. Like, it's only a temporary move to uncurl it. It doesn't stay flat.
I've heard that there are some the thing that really does kind of recurl a card is humidity, and so I think not that I'm sure everybody's going to be putting their cards in like lock boxes anytime it gets hot in Florida. It's just gonna it's an inevitable thing, I guess, with this, and you see it in some cards. The old cards, obviously, the old foiling does not do a lot of curling, but that's because it's less. As a matter of fact, speaking of foils and curling, this is something I didn't realize. I was opening a box of Ikoria today for a patron, and I realized, did you guys know that the Ikoria foils were not full foils?
Yeah.
They're not the full thing. It's just the border and the art.
Yeah.
You mean the text box doesn't have the foil? The
text box does not have a foil to it. There's no foil to the text box. It's just the art. And so it blows my mind to think that Ikoria did that and then just decided, you know what? Forget it. We're not going to do it for the rest of the other stuff. I pulled up a Clever Lumimancer, and they're clearly two different foilings, and the Clever Lumimancer's foil is curled, but
you mentioned that, but show me a curled Ikoria foil.
Right.
Well, that's the thing.
They very well.
I don't actually know that there is one. I don't have one in front of me. I don't think I own a curled Ikoria foil.
The one you just put up, is it curled at all?
No.
No, even the showcase versions. I've got easily
fresh out of the pack
Ikoria cards sitting. Yeah, they stay very well. Yeah.
So that I just kind of I'm poking in on that one, but I want to go back to something that you just said a couple minutes ago before we get too far away from it, Alex, and that was talking about. So you're talking about social media influencers, us being part of that. Though I really don't consider. I get aggravated that I talk so much, and it's like people get so shocked. I did the video about the whole reprinting reserve list thing, and that it's on their site that it doesn't apply to non-tournament legal cards like 2 years ago. At any rate, and I say it all the time, and it's like people are caught shocked. Oh, they printed. I'm like, duh. Literally, I've been saying it. And as influencers, though, I think that you said it right, and we should almost have to take some sort of oath to be honest with what we're saying. And I this last week convinced me, and I'm not going to throw names out there, even though I would like to. I think a lot of people just capitalize on the sensationalism of this. They're making it a much bigger deal than it is with the commemorative edition. I mean, it's going to be a limited print run, whatever that may be. Rudy was saying like 100,000 units. I doubt it. But even if they do, that's still fairly limited. And so I was doing the math on all that. And I think that let's talk about it for just a quick second. The really chase cards in those are going to be the retro bordered ones. And they said they'll be in every pack, there'll be a retro board, and 30% of those will be a rare, right? So out of 1,000 boxes, you're going to get 10 of any one rare. So you get out of 1,000 boxes, you're going to get 10 retro boarded if distribution is all equal and they don't have the track printing where Black Lotus is more rare than Mox Pro. That's 10 per 1,000, right? So I mean, that's not very many, folks. Now, I think that you're going to have far less value attached to the modern framed cards, but the retro frame ones are really good. That's really the cards that will have any market influence for singles out of that. And out of those, it's going to be a very, very small number. So the impact on the market in any fashion from this commemorative edition is going to be minimal. Like, just
negligible.
It's not going to be as big as people think. Honestly, I think it's just the collector edition and the international collector's editions that are most at risk for losing value. But at $250 a pack, who the hell is going to open a $250 pack and sell their black bordered dual land for $50? I don't think that's happening. I wouldn't do it.
I think Rudy calls them Timmies.
Yes.
So I don't. How many Timmies are buying $1,000 boxes? Not very many.
I think there are a lot of people. Like again, we go back up to the influencer thing. You know, I think if Rudy's video specifically, where I love the guy. I think he makes really great content. But Rudy also admitted in that video that he just made about the anniversary edition that he does not realize that he has such an influence at Wizards of the Coast. He doesn't realize that he has such a lot of influence on the people who watch his content and the people who buy product from him and the people who watch his videos in a way to kind of learn more about certain products. He just views himself as a man on the internet. And there are a lot of people who look at the success that this man has gotten and goes, well, I want to be like that guy, right? And this guy is telling me to buy Dragon's Maze. I'll buy Dragon's Maze, right? Like that's all it would take for there to be sales out the door for a lot of people, because they're just people who are impressionable. And I think at the end of the day, if Rudy's video was different and he said, this is a fantastic product, easily I'll buy 700 of them and I'll give them out for $85 or not 85, like $850 a box to get you guys a deal on my Patreon, people would be buying them up then just so they can crack them. If he's like, these singles are going to do so well on the market, it's going to be the craziest thing ever. You're going to be able to buy this $1,000 pack and almost guarantee 10x your money.
Yeah.
Obviously, he would not provide any proof for that, maybe, but if he did, and it was at least spoken well to his audience, they would go, oh, well, I'll eat anything this guy says up, so we can make that happen. But it's very, very, very difficult, and it's a very hard place to be, which is why I like to take the middle ground, right? I have my own opinions on the product, absolutely, but I do also know that there are people who exist who want to purchase this product. They saw that product and they didn't bat an eye, right? It's like they looked at that thing and then went, wow, that's actually a really cool thing. I have the money saved up for it, or I have the capital. My investments have been great. They're making a whole bunch on dividends or something, or they've saved up for a while and they're like, oh, you know what? I'll get two, right? Who am I to tell them that they can't get that? Right? You're your own person. I'm not going to tell somebody you can and cannot get something. And I'm not going to tell people to boycott Wizards because of this decision. I genuinely just think that you got to find your happiness in Magic where you can, whether or not that be printing out your proxies for, casual play at your house, or buying the cards you want for your competitive deck that you want to enter the RCQs in. It's entirely up to you, the individual, to choose how you want Magic to make you happy. And there's hundreds of avenues for everybody to take in regards to that. And that's my TED Talk. Thank you.
Yeah, we talk about that. We talk about that quite often about, find your happy. It's funny, so many of the channels focus so much on the financial aspect. And we try here to talk about, making Magic fun, finding ways to make your play groups fun, coming up with different formats, even yourself. You guys can be very creative out there and come up with your own formats that you like. We're personally going to be working on like a PvE thing that I've been a large push behind and going to try to get some info out of Vegas and from the Lotus Lookout. They run commander boss fights at his store. He says it's requested like every week. And we'll have hopefully some more exciting stuff coming in the coming weeks and months here. You know, it's not going to be immediate. This is all in our spare time. At any rate, you know, make Magic fun. Make the investing fun. Make opening fun. You know, whatever it is that you're doing with it. This is a hobby. You know, this shouldn't be your job. If it is, I would seriously consider a different.
And, you know, I think you make a good point on that. You know, to make opening fun. The last 2 times I did a video opening up product, it was an egg that Dave surprised me with while we were on a boat in a lake, right? The last time I opened up something was for Savannah Lions, and it was a power cube from that thing that Dave gifted to me. I wanted to pass that love on. So making Magic fun for the opening part, absolutely. That's why I'm looking forward to playing Unfinity, for the fun of opening it and playing it for the experience. I'm not looking to hunt down cards, not trying to get value out of it, which is a terrible prospect for opening up Magic cards to get money off of. Hey, drip, 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 drip.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and you know, in all aspects, whatever it is that you're doing, even if you're, you know, getting your hustle on, if you're buying and selling, meaning flipping, being a Timmy, whatever, make it enjoyable. This is about the journey, folks. I think you should take a long, hard look at yourself if you're truly trying to approach this as a primary means of income. I think it's a ridiculously risky avenue to try to take.
Oh my
and Rudy's done it well. But most that get into this do not, whether you're a player, a content creator, you know, everybody has big dreams. I'm going to be a content creator and, you know, become, you know, YouTube famous and get 15 million people. Even the professor doesn't have 1 million subscribers. You know, it's not an avenue for wealth. I'm sorry. It just isn't. You're going to have so many side hustles and you would hate it. I bet you Rudy puts in 80 to 100 hours a week. No lie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
With everything. Even when he was on vacation, he was doing about 40 hours a week.
Yeah. I mean,
it's tough.
You know,
I mean,
that's the formula for success. If you know, if you're dealing with rubber bands and paper clips, you know, it doesn't matter what it is if you're getting your hustle on to that degree.
Yeah, it's entirely the, you know, you put into the work, you put in the work that you want, right? And if you want your side hustle to work out, it's a side hustle. But I made the video even on people who are like, oh, I want to open an LGS, right? I want to, you know, get these events going, and I want to get a community together, and I want to do this whole thing. But I think the best way to open an LGS is to not sacrifice everything you have to open one. I think you should have a well-paying job and have a hobby shop as a side business, because your hobby shop is not going to make you 6 figures on a regular basis. If it does, you have some kind of magical way of obtaining really, really expensive cards and getting them to sell immediately for, you know, 3 times their price. But there's not going to be a ton of wealth in Magic the Gathering, the hobby, right? You know, you could invest and save your cards, and maybe 20 years down the line, you can go, oh, well, you know, I could use this money for something better. So at least my Magic cards are worth something a little bit more now. Let me get rid of them, right? But it's not.
Let's say this: the people I know that make money off of Magic, like behind the scenes, the people that I talk to, and the ones that I know personally, most LGSs don't, you know, their bread and butter, not necessarily Magic. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it's selling other high profit margin stuff.
Yeah.
And they're almost never exclusively, none that I know personally are exclusive Magic stores. Secondly, the ones I know that make a living exclusively off of Magic, if Magic disappeared tomorrow, they would still be doing the same hustle, only they would just change the product. It might be, you know, like lunchroom trays for all I know, or adult diapers. It doesn't really matter what the product is. Those people are the hustlers. You know, they're always looking for the great deal and, you know, buying things low and selling high. And, you know, that's more of a personality rather than just this kind of false assumption that you're going to open packs and make money. Like, I'm not going to do it again because last time there was egg on my face, but 95% of the packs that you open, you're not even going to break even, folks, on secondary market value. And by the time you add in all your fees and selling and taxes and shit and shipping, you're almost never going to break even on any pack.
Right.
That's like a 1%er. At any rate, find you're happy with the game. It is a game. Enjoy whatever aspect of it that you're involved in. That's really what Magic is. For me, it's the community. Honestly, it's the whole reason I got on YouTube, is to talk to people. And you can ask these two guys here, or anybody that's talked to me personally. I enjoy talking Magic, just period. It doesn't matter what format. So I decided to do it publicly. I don't think I'm ever going to make a penny doing this, ever. But I hope to meet many of you, and I've made some friends along the way. And that's the gold in it for me. That's what I've profited. Do I have a decent... It really is, honestly.
You just melting me hot.
But that's the truth. I mean, I'm kind of upset that neither one of you is coming out to Vegas.
I know. Trust me. I would absolutely love to. But you know what? The promise of Gen Con next year is just as fantastic, and very much so closer to my state of being than
Sure. I mean,
no. I'm just saying.
100% honest, clear cut, open as I can be. I like to put my cards on the table. Haha. I'd rather take you to Vietnam, Bob. I bet you and I could have like a way better time in Ho Chi Minh City for a week than in Vegas for a weekend.
Sherry's watching.
Sherry, you can come along too.
Ooh.
I'm not talking about being like sex pats. I'm talking about like going and being like ballers. You know how cheap jewelry is over there, Bob? They don't go to beers for diamonds.
No, I want everybody to find fun in Magic. Like, I'm just gonna say right here, since he said I like to talk Magic, and he poked the bear. Decoy is one of my favorite people to open product with. As a matter of fact, I bought 3 draft boxes. I bought a whole bunch of collector boxes for Double Masters 2022. If I open one box, I'm trying to get together with him and crack that box. And this is what I'm talking about. It's not going to be, I'm not recording it, so don't even request it. And he'll probably crack a box too with me. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about it, I was talking to him about it. I'm trying to push him into buying a second box of the 30th Collector's Edition, if that's even going to be a thing, which I really want to harp on that folks, I think that might be the bigger issue with both the Secret Lair, the calendar Secret Lair, and the 30th Collector Commemorative Edition. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people that want to buy it that forgot to set their alarm clock. They were busy doing dinner. Daughter was screaming, whatever, dog ate their homework excuse you're going to come up with, and they're going to miss it. I think that's going to happen. But I tried to push him into buying 2. He said he's going to buy 1 after he didn't even know about it. I brought it to his attention. Yeah. And I talked through it with him, and I'm like, yeah, we both agree that it's a great investment product. I don't care what people say. It's a good investment if you keep it sealed. It's going to be gold moving forward.
Yeah.
And I said,
yeah, that's it.
Just in case we get really fucked up one night and we want to open those things, that we still have 1 sealed. We have 1 to crack and 1 sealed. But that's
why I buy 2.
I'm really going to open it with. So
yeah,
I have my opening buddy, right? And he don't even play.
Yep. So, and that's the whole thing. You got to find it. And that's there's so much that you can do to make yourself happy in the game. Whether it be collecting, investing, or just playing Commander with an entire deck full of proxies, whatever it may be. Right, you get to have that joy, and you get to make memories and make friends and do that whole thing. And it is important to take that into consideration. So
yeah.
How come you don't believe in the
Collector's Edition intercollection, but you do believe in 30th, Bob?
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean by I don't believe in it. We have to define that a little better, Savannah. I'll say this.
Give me 1 second.
I believe in you, buddy, and I am so happy to have you, back in the community. And I know it's late for you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging with us tonight. I know it's like the middle of the night for you. As far as like the collector's edition, and ice, I do believe in them. I don't know what you mean by that. I think that the market, God, I'm going to say this and it's not going to be popular, but oh well, tough shit.
Have at it.
It's like sheep, it's like, oh man, let's go over this way. Looking at the numbers, first off, we don't even know what the numbers are. If they said it's close to beta, that's only like 3,000 of each. So there's 20 million Magic players. This should not affect the market for any product. It creates a whole new market. I think eventually it'll find that. Secondly, I can't control what Timmy's paper hand folders out there are going to, have been collecting in the last 3 years. I can afford a collector's edition or international collector's edition Mox Pearl or Black Lotus. Oh shit, they might lose value. And they're going to in the short term. I don't know what's going to happen to them long term. Do I believe in them? Yes. Do I like them personally as a product? No. I have exactly one. It's Mana Barbs. And it's the paper quality is so bad. It's like literally like just a little, it's almost like paper. And the gold foiling on it is so delicate. The corners are so easy to damage. It's like
what I've heard.
It's like handling a Fabergé egg, and you're like, oh shit. I don't even want to take it in and out of the binder. When people come over and I show it, I'm like, there it is. No, don't take that one out. Like they take out my beta cards and shit. I'm like, let's not use that. Let's not do it to that one because it's too delicate, right? So I don't love collectors, but I do think they're rare, right? They're rare. They're a part of history. I love the token sheets that they came out with originally. If you don't know what that is, go do some digging around and look at the history of Magic. The first tokens, they're like printed out, like punch out things on these flimsy pieces of paper. They're hot garbage. But would I want one? Hell yeah, I would. I like Magic stuff. Shit, guys, look. You want to know something? This is sitting at my desk here. You know what I keep? You know what these? Anybody know what these are?
Yeah, those are from the bundles.
Yeah.
Right. These are the inserts in the damn bundles. I keep ridiculous shit, right, from Magic because, over the years, even the boxes are like reminiscent. I love Dual Brain's binders that he has in the background. Like when I look at most people look at the packs, and I'm looking at those binders because God, they remind me of back in the day. And the boxes that were made for each of the different sets that they had back then.
Yep. Yeah, I saw
great
like Tempest ones and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
That's some pretty cool stuff.
And they're rare. They're very rare. And so are the international collectors and original collectors. And a lot of them got ruined, opened, played with, because for decades, those things weren't worth shit. But, people played with them rather than their real, Black Lotuses and dual lands. But, oh no, I wish it was, Savannah. I really do. But Collector's Edition should not suffer from this. It should not. But will it? I think it will. I think that the market is, no offense, not very analytical. They make too many moves based on emotion rather than analytical data. And the data that we have to look at is what other people are selling. So when the first one makes the move, oh shit, let it. It doesn't explain why MH2 is going so low or Double Masters. I mean, there are some great products out there for a good deal right now, people.
Oh, it's so funny you mentioned that. So and my buddy,
and they shouldn't be, is the short of it. More of it's already been cracked. So for the sealed market, it's less of it. Modern Horizons 2 is out of print. Double Masters was like a low, like kind of one-time print run. And most of it's, already been cracked. So they should technically be more expensive. But the Timmy's going to be Timmy's.
Well, and I think it just, leads to a sharper increase. Like we were just saying, there's a lot of great products, MH2 and then Double Masters 22 just going by as well. I was just looking online at some, card shop prices, and it's incredible. It's almost like release prices again. And everybody's, hyped on the new stuff, looking at sets coming out in the future, and they're missing some great deals on products that have just gone by. And if you're looking at keeping stuff sealed, it's such a great investment. And on top of that, hang on to it for a little while, maybe pop it open later when the singles prices start inflating back again.
Well, let's talk about why prices are dropping so much. I mean, Magic took a while to catch up with the economic downturn, but it did. Magic prices aren't, card prices, secondary market, are not completely unhooked from the S&P. It's just not. It it is a luxury product, So people tend to hold on to it a little longer and like, well, I can just hold on to it. They're not going to spend as much, but this downturn will follow market trends. And when the market turns back up again at some point, most of it's such a bizarre last 3 years, like so many black swan events. Not only did we have the Rona, but then you have the government coming out and saying, here's free money to all the people who didn't have expendable income before. Just take it. And I don't know what to do. Buy it. Buy Black Lotuses.
Buy stuff. Yeah.
It's like, dude. And I know people personally that like depended on that and were sad when they stopped getting stimmy checks.
Yeah.
So the market will turn. It will probably be a bit more normal, like Ed always talks about, when we return to a normal state of affairs. So you'll probably see those slower rates of growth. 5 to 8% would be considered good for any product. But right now we're just in this, we're in the dip. This is what it looks like. We don't know when it's going to start turning the other way, but when it does, you're going to be sad that you didn't buy on the way down.
Mm-hmm. You pick up your favorite stuff and whatever you feel is investable, right? I mean, you got to look at what Triomes. I think even just like basic Triomes are only like $10-11 right now or something. The borderless non-foil versions are pretty low, and there's options for everybody. I did have a question though. There was something that was brought up. Do you guys think that the release of the Magic 30 Anniversary Edition is going to that its purpose could be to bring more eyes to the older product on the secondary market?
No.
Ooh.
I think that's bullshit.
Say that again, Bob.
No, that's bullshit. That's somebody looking. That's chasing clouds. Seriously, that's looking for something. I don't think it will bring more eyes. The only people that are even really aware of it are people that would be aware of it in the first place. This isn't being advertised on TV and radio and all the things you really need to do to reach new audiences. It's not a new crossover IP with anything. It doesn't even touch most Magic players, period. Most Magic players, I'm going to say it, probably 80 to 90% of the people in this audience will never even see a box of it. Never physically see a box in their life.
Yeah.
Be honest. Like, how many of you have ever actually held or seen in person a Mythic Edition War of the Spark?
Nope.
Okay. That's my point. Now somebody did mention something earlier. I can't remember who it was. Asked me what my thoughts, and you guys can please chime in too, on investing in singles. Was that drip up above? I can't remember if you want to post this. So that's a very tricky question. Investing in singles for me is a very personal thing. I think it is way, way riskier than sealed. Sealed doesn't have the volatile nature of singles, meaning it's not sealed isn't going to spike hard like a single card.
Now, what about singles of a very specific type? Kaladesh, you got your inventions. What about your evocations or your neon cards? What about the textured foils? Do you think a textured Ulamog is going to be worthwhile 5 years from now?
When you talk about investing, right now, here we get into the boring part of it, and boring for some, but I bet Decoy loves about what I'm about to say, and that is that most people, and I've said it, and I don't even know how many of you really understand what I'm about to say here, that this is a diversification of my portfolio. What does that mean? It means that I have my other truly responsible financial aspects of my life in order. I have no debt of any kind other than my mortgage. I'll even tell you, I put away roughly 40%. I'm very aggressive. Roughly 40% of my income goes into traditional investments, including 401k, Roth, HSA, boring stuff.
Yeah. Index stock options. Yeah.
I don't even invest in that. I'm very boring. I do index funds, folks. It's easy. So I do index funds. I try to find, the best looking ones, and there's all kinds of things. I'm not even going to get into that. You can find financial channels for that kind of stuff. What I'm saying is that part of my life is taken care of, including my rainy day money. Now I am going to have to dip into my rainy day money to buy the 30th commemorative, and that's making me struggle a little bit. I always say You only buy Magic product for investment, because that's what you're talking about, investing in singles with money that you don't mind losing all of, like what you would take to a casino and throw in a slot machine.
When you go to a casino, you've got to be ready to lose all the money that you're putting down on it. And that's definitely something to be said about Magic the Gathering. You've got to be prepared, one, to set that money aside. At best, you're putting it for a lock-in, like a CD. You're not going to be able to touch that sealed box for years if you want to accrue anything off it. And then on top, you've also got to hope that it goes somewhere.
So singles are just too volatile. And I don't care. And I said it before with the reserve list. You know, so many people, and that was actually going to be one of the topics that we talked about today, but I'm not going to get into it, talking about, printing the reserve list. And people are like, oh, no, if they actually violated the reserve list, we would sue them. Bullshit. That really wouldn't happen, not in mass. And honestly, WotC wouldn't really care. They've got a team of lawyers. And if you want to try to take on a team of lawyers, well, you better be as big as WotC. At least.
You might as well buy the product at that rate.
On that exact note, I was actually fucking around on MTG stocks, and I wanted to see a different printing of a card. And one of the versions that came up was Gaia's Cradle. And the cheapest version was like $230. I was like, wait, how is there a Gaia's Cradle for like $200-something? Oh, it's a championship deck. Gold border, and it has a big black line through it that says not for tournament play, and the back has like a different version on it. And if you're cool with playing with any of these other versions, why not play with that as well? And it's a real thing made by Magic the Gathering. And I started cruising around, and I saw all sorts of different versions of cards like that. Force of Will for like $13, but it's just a championship deck version. You know, maybe you're right, Alex. It kind of has opened my eyes up to some of these older Magic the Gathering products. So big ups, that's an interesting, introspective look on it.
I think there's opportunity obviously everywhere, right? We all have access to the internet, and everybody can watch any of our videos that have existed. And I'm sure at least one person who does Magic the Gathering content has talked about 1993 product, right? So the odds that you run into it are probably pretty good. The internet has a great way of offering content to you that might be correlated with content that you've already searched, so on and so forth, yada, yada. But I think overall, though, as far as even just looking into like the singles, right? The singles investing, very much so in agreement. I'm really awful at speculating on singles, and I really don't think that this is the best way to invest. I think that sealed is probably the better way to do it. Do I like the idea of those cards that have special frames? Sure, but I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a good portion of my life, and the only thing a special frame does, a special printing of a card, the only thing it ever does is give the company an opportunity to print a better version of it. And because of that, it's just genuinely like there's always going to be one more that the company's going to be able to do to make it a little bit better. And everybody's going to have their preferences, right? Some people probably look at these new the Galaxy Foil Shocklands and go, I don't want that. I like the original one. And everybody's got a preference when it comes to it. So it doesn't matter how flashy something is at the time. Sure, it could go for a little bit, but in the long run, if they come out with some kind of extra cool version that's got a different art that more people will enjoy, or a bunch of other people will enjoy, its price could change depending on it as well. Sometimes the price doesn't change at all depending on the frame of the card, like Cavern of Souls. I think Cavern of Souls sits right around the same price altogether, aside from the Ultimate Masters box topper. Right, like that's pretty much it. But there's a lot of opportunity in singles. But I don't think singles is where you should start.
A good card, though. I mean,
right, and with everybody playing tribal,
so many
right?
good cards that lose value.
There's
it's
tons
hard to predict.
Right.
Going back to one of the things that you kind of were talking about there, and not kind of, you were absolutely talking about And actually, it was Pat that sort of gave me my first poo-poo on the 30th commemorative, the only like really negative one that has teeth, argument that has teeth to me. So kind of melding these two things into one. You were talking about, will this bring new eyes to the product? To a very limited degree. Like you said, the search engines are going to be for your search history. It's not going to bring it to new people. I think the Transformers cards are going to do far more to bring in new eyes that have never seen Magic cards before and haven't found this audience. We all think, how could you not know about Magic? But I'll guarantee you, if you go to your office or wherever you work, 80% of the people never even heard of it. Yep. So that's their bigger hurdle to get past. And what Pat had said about the 30th, and it really made me stop for a second on DJ's show and go, that's actually a really good argument, is that they're focusing their effort on this. And we've said it before in other ways. And here's me shilling for WotC. For those of you that think I'm a WotC shill, they could have taken their effort, money, time, and done more to reach broader audiences, right? And I don't care if that's giving away a Magic card in a Kellogg's box or on the back of a damn, Kraft macaroni and cheese box or
Happy Meals. Pokemon was doing cards in McDonald's meals. You could go and get a small booster pack in like certain orders. So there's no reason Magic couldn't reach out and do something like that. You go down to Five Guys and you get yourself some Magic cards on top of it, you big neckbeard bitch.
Oh, you want to see something cool?
They have
Five Guys wrappers all over your floor.
I don't know how many of you know, but Pokemon actually released a trick or trade booster pack that you can give out for Halloween. These all have 3 cards in them in each pack, and one of these cost me $15, and it was there's 40 packs in here for $15 that you can hand out to kids for Halloween.
Right,
that was neat.
So that is my biggest criticism of the. That's my biggest criticism of the 30th commemorative edition. That everything else is just fugazi. It'll be forgotten about in 6 months, and people will miss out on it, and it'll be worth a few $1,000s in 5 years, and they go, "Damn, I should have bought them."
We'll cry about something else in 5 years.
Products that's like this. This is just like the Mythic Edition, just like the VIP packs, just like any time that they put out, like the Throne of Eldraine Deluxe Edition. All these different specialty products that they put out all tend to follow the very same pattern. People hate the shit out of them because they're so expensive when they first come out. I'm not buying that. Rawr, pitchfork, burn it. And then 5-10 years down the road, it's worth a fortune. So whatever, collector's edition. $39.95 forever.
And also the same thing for Double Masters as well. The original VIP. I had never seen that product in real life either. And when I saw, oh, hey, there's a box for $100, this small emerald cube, $120, $150, $200. Holy shit. This is incredible. Yeah.
So I think that WotC is horribly steering the ship. I think that they're really, really bad at marketing. I hate to say it.
I agree. I agree.
And here, you want me to prove it? They make a shitload of marketing cards. You know where they are?
In product you've bought already.
In product you already bought. They put the advertisement in a product that people are already buying. Yep. It's like, dude, what do you think? I'm going to go handing these out to my fucking neighbors who would have any clue what this is?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Exactly.
This needs to be in a pack of something else.
Right. There definitely needs to be more work on an advertisement. I think they did a lot of advertisement with War of the Spark too, didn't they? They created a whole music video and like the ads were everywhere. There were right. There's a lot of things that are being pushed for certain product. And you would think, right, the 30th anniversary, they'd be doing a lot more in regards to this. And even something like Savannah Lion just said, like there's only a 30th anniversary event here in the United States. And they could have taken this money that they are using to kind of promote the 30th anniversary, edition, and they could have put someplace in Europe. They could have put a Central Asia store to set something up. Like if they really were going about celebrating the 30th Magic anniversary with everybody, they could have allocated their funds elsewhere. But I think, and this is something that, you know, even Rudy brought up in his thing and that I kind of talked about, is that, Wizards, at the end of the day, they need to make money as a company. And do I think there's a good way to make company and still have your community not hate you? Yes, absolutely. Which is why I think this was such a bad idea on their end. I don't care that it's $1,000. I don't care that it's beta collector's edition reprint things. I don't care that it's cards I can't use in a tournament. I don't care. I can just personally think of the at least 10 other things that Wizards could have done with this promotion to have made their 30th anniversary better for everybody collectively. So
I think they certainly, I don't know about better, but let's say that, to Pat's point, I think they certainly could have done a much better job at making Magic 30 reach far more people.
Yeah.
Than this commemorative edition will, right? Have people walking up and down the street in Vegas, that's where we're going to be, handing out packs of Unfinity, right? Just to random people on the street.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that they could do.
Some sort of a parade, have all the cosplay people and then Wizards employees that have all sorts of crazy costumes from the set, march around town or do something creative, some way to make a splash about it. But no, even on like YouTube, why don't they put up some advertisements there? I've seen trailers and for full set releases where they make up some video thing, some
here's a free marketing idea for you, Watsy. If anybody watches this show or anybody wants to pass this off to Watsy. Oh, by the way, I do have big news. Holy shit, I totally forgot about it. I'll tell you about it after I mention this. And so I'll mention this to them. Make a Macy's Day Parade Magic float.
Oh yeah.
Make a Mardi Gras float. And on those floats, you know what they should be doing? Make these 2-3 pack things like you just saw for Pokemon, and you start chucking them to people in the crowds all over New York City and New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get 1 million new Magic players.
Yep.
Right. And then you're going to have some sort of big, make them the chibi version floats of like a Johnny or something out there, that nothing offensive, like giant floats. And you just, you do something akin to that to get it in front of a lot more people. Well, but even if they don't care, Solar God, about people, they should care about the bottom line, and getting in the hands of more people means more buying public.
Yep.
Right?
More that know about
it. That's the whole point. I just think they do a really shitty job at it. Like, we've already got the market cornered. We'll put our advertisement in our own product. How stupid.
I think you see that. You see that a lot with even like World of Warcraft too, right? Like, I mean, all these people who've been playing WoW for like, years on end. I think a lot of places just kind of assume that because you got a lot of veterans and a lot of people who are so hardcore into their game that it's like these people are going to be the ones that are going to carry us.
I'm actually going to argue with you. I'm getting sick of the World of Warcraft Dragonflight advertisements I keep getting on my TV now.
Oh, that's right. You play WoW. Yeah. And that's that. I didn't know whether or not they were getting them on television or anything. I do see them every now and again, but and I mean, granted, Blizzard has to do everything they freaking can after the nonsense they went through, but
sure. But why you never see a Magic commercial that way?
Exactly, right? Like, I think there is a lot of improvement that Wizards can do in regards to its advertisement. And I think we're all in agreement of that. I don't, and I think that's also why. I think that's also why in regards to that, they're kind of tying themselves into other IPs. I think the entirety of the Universes Beyond is just one giant advertisement ploy, because now you have all these Warhammer people who are like, oh, I want that, right? Or all the, My Little Pony people who want to get a secret lair. Like,
here's the problem with that. That's
the Walking Dead folks. Yeah.
That's passive advertisement though, right? That's putting it into your own product and expecting those people in those milieu to find you. right? So they have to give the behavior that will make them find you. I think that WotC has to be more proactive with reaching customers, and I just don't see it. And honestly, and we've said it many times here, they need to make far more of their effort and development aimed at new players, right? They need to make new player formats, new player cards, new player things. And Jumpstart is sort of that, but they really did a trash job of it this time around. It was really bad.
Yeah, DMU was bad, real bad. They are making those starter commander decks though.
I'm hoping that the Jumpstart 2022 will be more that way, right?
Yeah,
I think
it'll be better.
Yeah,
but again, they need to be more actively seeking players.
Then the next one is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're doing a Brothers War Jumpstart that's like $70 already.
Yeah,
right, but that's totally different than the Jumpstart 2022. Actually, I think it was a bad idea to put it in every standard product. I think it's a really bad idea.
In retrospect, I do now.
To be fair, if it was that or if it was theme booster packs, I mean, like, you're kind of...
I want Jumpstart ahead of theme booster packs, to be honest.
Right.
I'll take Jumpstart over theme. Theme was so bad.
Exactly, right. So I think it's at least it's at least a step up from the theme booster packs, but it's still not like it's still not what the world wants Jumpstart to be, which is why I like the original Jumpstart, and then I'm excited for the Jumpstart 2022. I'm definitely going to put in a pre-order for Jumpstart 2022, just because it's another fun product I can just bring to people's houses and we can play and. All it is just 2 packs. You throw them together. It's easy peasy. We don't know what cards are coming in there yet, but it's still going to be something that I know I'm going to enjoy. And overall, it's going to be a great beginner product. I like to, over on my channel at least, I want to start putting a more huge focus on getting the word out to newer players, on how to properly get yourself acclimated to the world of Magic and how to easily get yourself kind of started. And I have hundreds of ideas, so much as like making up pauper kits where I can make a pretty like average pauper deck in one of every color and tie it in with a deck box and some sleeves and a playmat and sell those online for X amount of dollars, right? To kind of get a starter kit going for players who don't know where to begin. There's a ton of people who get in and they get real lost real quick because 30 years of stuff. And if I found somebody who was brand new to me Magic, I have somebody in my comment section literally yesterday, and they were like, "I just bought cards from Kamigawa. I bought a theme booster pack, and I bought a couple booster packs. Can I make a deck out of this?" And I'm like, theoretically, you could, right? Yeah. Like, nobody stopping you from making a deck like that. But if you wanted to start somewhere, you have to find out what format you want to go into. And if I had to explain all the 8 different formats that existed in Magic to one person, they'd go, all right, maybe I don't know what I want to do with this yet. Maybe I just like the art. And
I totally agree. And that's where I say they're horrible,
right.
They're just really, really bad at new blood, especially, let's even take that a step further and going with their distribution. I think it's a huge mistake to go through Amazon and Walmart and Target and all these big box stores. I'm sorry. They grew up with the LGSs. You cannot have anybody explain to you on Amazon how to play or get you into a game of Magic, or Walmart or Target. You're never going to sit down if you sat down in Target and started ripping open Magic cards, they're probably going to bring it in the back and wonder if you stole them.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. You're certainly not going to have a store employee explaining, "Oh, well, no, you got to have mana to play your cards." It's not going to happen, and it never will. Now, their profit margins might be bigger, but it's not healthy for the game holistically overall. You're not going to have somebody who's never seen Magic before in Walmart just walk up and, "Oh, let me buy some Magic cards." That's never even heard of it, never seen it. It's good. It'll be invisible. It'll be camouflaged to them.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's also behind the counter now. It's not something that's just on the shelves. It's not something when you go to an LGS, it's not normally in the front. They're playing their tournaments in the back as well. So they have to really try to get their product out to people.
But in an LGS, and most of them have the store layout, and a lot of people get their very first exposure to Magic because usually their cash register is sitting on a case full of Magic cards. It's right up front. It's loud. It's proud. It's here. And people look at them opened. They can see the artwork and they're like, what's this? They walk in to buy a box of Monopoly and like, hey, what are these? Right?
Yeah.
You don't have that at Walmart. You don't have it at Amazon. You have to go search for the product there. So it does nothing to bring the new blood into the game for any of those places.
It's a lot. It's easy to it's easy to get lost in it. And I mean, there's new people trying to get into Magic every single day. One of the things that most people talk about in regards to the big three, right? Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic, is that Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon at least have a show that airs on television. And so, they have something to connect the person from other, media entries to the game that they have. Right now, they don't ever play the Pokemon card game in Pokemon, but if you know what Pokemon is, and then you find out that there are little cards that have your favorite Pokemon on them, you're more inclined to go, okay, maybe I'll buy that. And then Yu-Gi-Oh, obviously, the whole show is about people dueling, so you already have them explaining the game for you in the show, as well as telling you about the new cards and what they do and how to do them and so on and so forth. And Magic doesn't have any of that. There's no outside source of media that will bring people into Magic like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon does. Yeah.
But they could.
Yeah. They could. Exactly. They could, but they don't. Like, I mean, every time they've tried to make a video game, they failed. So
that's because you're trying to copy somebody else's success. And I'm just gonna say Arena is, a really shitty version. And so what was the latest one? The Spellslingers, stupid piece of shit game. Supposed to be a rip-off version of Hearthstone. I hate to tell you, Magic, you missed the bus. Like,
so bad. So bad.
World of Warcraft did not have the card. They did make a TCG, in case you guys don't know about it. I've collected a number of them, but their card game really just didn't take off. So they made the digital card game. Guess what? It took off. It is the king of digital card games. TCG card games. Magic, you're not going to catch them, so don't try. And your version sucks. So don't swing in somebody else's wheelhouse. You got to march out, and they're the progenitor of all TCGs. That was their strong suit. Stick in your wheelhouse and innovate there, right? Instead of chasing the dragon, so to speak.
Right. I don't know. I bet Wizards is probably doing really well with Arena. As far as, you don't think so?
No.
I think they're doing okay enough. I liked the addition of they just announced that Shadows over Innistrad Remastered is coming to Arena. I can't remember. I think it's next month, December, early 2023. I can't remember. That's getting put in there. So they're at least still continue. Some part of their company is still attempting to release older sets to make Pioneer more of a like actual thing. But there's a lot of issues with Arena that most people, I think, are in agreement with, and that's nobody liked Alchemy. Nobody likes Alchemy, and there are people I'm sure there are people out there who do like Alchemy. But again, I equated it a lot to Spellslingers, although Spellslingers is way more than anything else. It's just not Magic in the way that we know it, right? It doesn't play the same way as an actual game of Magic would play. You have a virtual way of counting counters, and I think the other thing that really differentiates paper Magic versus Magic on Arena, or I don't know whether or not they do this in MTGO, but if you ever like duress your opponent's hand, you can just continue to look at their hand throughout the rest of the game. But on paper, you just kind of have to go, okay, let me just remember what they have in their hand.
I think you're allowed to ask them. I don't think you have to remember.
Really?
I think so. I think in tournaments. I'd have to look that up again, but
I'd have to see. I'd be interested.
And you're allowed to write it down. But It doesn't play the same. And
You
to
know,
that
having
point,
your
the
tokens
best
and
part,
life feeds and triggers and stuff.
the best part of Magic to me are the players. And Arena just feels like I'm playing a bot, whether it's a player or a bot. It doesn't. There's nothing exciting about it to me at all. Is it convenient? Sure. Is it fun? Not really. I don't know why I grind out the resources. I do. I grind out the resources just so we might someday have, whatever resources we want for content for our channel, which we just don't really enjoy. So it takes out the gathering part of Magic the Gathering. Like, there's no personal connection whatsoever to the people that you're playing against, period. You can't converse with them. You can't talk about it. You can't understand it. It's just shit that happens to you. And usually most games, if you're playing against other players, are over in about 5 or 6 turns, really.
They did talk about, because it is something that is genuinely interesting, that they have no chat, right? Like, you're not able to chat between your opponent and such. But from what I've seen on several Arena Facebook pages, my goodness, right? A lot of the players who are just not grasping Magic and are stuck in bronze or silver are some of the most toxic individuals to ever exist on this planet, right up there with League of Legends players. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've heard whining for no reason, and I know, at least I would think, that that's why they don't allow chat boxes or anything of the sort in Arena right now, because
it's kind of for the best. I mean,
it's going to be so bad.
Place. And when you have just like an open chat box, it's also like made for kids too. So it's kind of just safer not to have that. They could certainly open up some of the options for chat, different emotes or dumb little things you can say, maybe, a bunch of different options, but that is absolutely something that is limiting. There's no gathering in Magic the Gathering online. For sure. You take something away.
Right. Absolutely. And also, Moxbox, I'll get a new background sometime soon for you. I promise.
Thanks for coming, Decoy.
But I do live in a seedy hotel, though, so this is what you get.
No, I mean, boy, we've talked about a broad smattering of topics tonight, folks.
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe to Mr. Pat the Popper for being so generous and paying money to improve the product that we're bringing to you. He sent that out. I'm actually a patron of his. That he's trying to improve our tech to bring to you guys. So it does cost us money out of our own pockets just to try to make things better for you guys. So please recognize that by liking and subscribing. That would be at least a big help, a free way for you to give him some help. Hit up Alex. I think Alex is one of the rising stars in my book. There are hundreds of new content creators that come out every single day, and Alex puts out really topical pieces. It's not correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't do a ton of pack cracking, so that's not really going to be his thing. But there's 100 channels that do that. So if you want some actual, thoughtful content, and he puts a lot of thought and research into his content. So, go out there, give him a look, give him a subscribe, and check out some of his videos that he's done. He's doing really, really well, I think.
Yeah, I genuinely, I think we do a lot of box cracking for patrons. I think that's pretty much where it's going to be. I've gotten to a point where, even if I started making at least a decent amount of money on YouTube, pack cracking is just too much. A lot of the stuff on my channel is about knowledge, history, gameplay, strategy, pretty much lore sometimes. I like to talk about a lot of the stuff, but pack cracking we don't do a ton of, but we do actually have a pack cracking video coming up, hopefully tonight. So, but it's for a patron.
Another, it does get to be a big pain in the ass with all of the inventory of having cards around and having to ship stuff out. It's cool the first couple of times you go to the post office with like a big armful of packages. And, I feel like I'm the guy, I'm shipping out a whole bunch of stuff to people all over the country, all over the world. and then you have to do it on like your weekends or after your hard day of work. You've got to still go down and get that card in the mail. It gets old fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's been a big week, folks. It has. This is not our way of FOMOing you out on these things. Like I said, with the, if you take anything away tonight, make better or worse, whether you like or hate it, make up your mind prior to the Secret Lair calendar edition, the 30 individual packs, before it hits. And you said that's like in the beginning of November, I think.
Yeah, November 1st, 9 a.m. Pacific time. So
that'd be noon
10
Eastern,
Mountain, 11 Midwest, 12 Eastern. So just you got to be on top of it, because I don't want anybody to come at me in my comments and tell me I think this product sucks because they limited it. When
I honestly think that's going to be the, and you know what, their websites, and I think I know the commemorative one they said they're doing through, it's not even their website.
Yeah, a different site. Which God, if Bob, if what happens to you,
God, I'm scared. That's the part I'm worried about. Like, I'm not worried about cards losing value or there's a community pissed off on both sides.
Oh gosh,
I'm worried about them fucking up the implementation of it, like they did with the tickets, and they're just bad at that. They're so bad at that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think the people are going to be pissed. I think that's where you really upset people to the point where they just have to walk away. I mean, you really want to be upset? Don't be upset about the products they're making. Be upset with being able to get it, how they get it, and charging you or not charging you, or shipping out 8 months later, or that's the kind of stuff to get pissed off at WotC about, that they're really bad about and they need to fix.
And, that's actually one of the things that is interesting about this product is that, so 30 packs isn't quite the right way to put it.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they are.
They're one card packs.
They're 30 box toppers.
So it's a lot like an advent calendar where you've got just a whole bunch of them, and it's supposed to be one for each day of December. And because they've already printed these,
but aren't there 31 days in December?
They're supposedly
you're supposed to get it on the 1st and not open one till the 2nd, I think.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and get them shipped out really fast. They're saying depending on where you are physically in the country, that you can get them for the 1st of December. So within 1 month of shipping of purchase, you get the product in hand. Which
let's see how they keep up with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna. I think they're gonna miss the mark on that one too.
Well, who knows? I'd like to see
but
it.
I'm just saying, if think about it now. That's the difference between FOMO. This is not creating FOMO. This is creating a month, roughly, of decision making, right? And make your decisions now. And if you decide it's not for you, cool. But if you do decide that it's for you, my advice is be there half an hour early on the page, getting ready to rock and roll. Right. Know the quantities that you're going to want to buy, because they didn't even say if they're going to limit quantities, by the way.
Oh yeah, frig that. Oh my God, I really hope they don't do that. I hope it's. I really do hope it's one.
We don't know.
But
make these decisions now, folks. Like, don't wait until the day of. Have some contingencies if you want multiple quantities. Well, if not, are you at least wanting to buy one? That kind of stuff. If they have multiple quantities, do you want to buy maximum? Make all your decisions now.
Yeah, and on top of that, be extra smart. Make sure you've already made an account. Make sure you're logged in that half hour ahead of time. Make sure you've already confirmed your shipping address. Make sure you've got the money in your account. You've got your card in your lap. It's like any impulse sell product. Like when Xboxes first came out, you had to be right on top of it. Same thing if you're trying to get a fancy pair of shoes. You got to make sure that you're right there, that you're on point.
Go make your digital accounts now, or as early as you can. As soon as I find the info for the commemorative edition, I'm going to try to register on whatever the hell site that is, or try to pre-register however I can. And I'll try to share that information here if possible. But if you buy Secret Lairs, I don't know if you have to. I think you do have to have a WotC account.
I believe.
Yeah, you need to have a Wizards account. Yeah.
I don't think they let you check out as a guest. I think you have to have some form of account. It's the same one that you use at tournaments and whatnot, but go make your accounts now. If you think you're going to buy one and you haven't bought any secret layers before, be aware of all of that stuff, right? Go do your homework, be ahead of it. Do not be farting around with that at 9 a.m. Pacific time on the 1st and go, shit, I missed out because I had to do all my registering and confirming my account and all that shit.
There's also an interesting thing that occurred with the Here Be Dragons, and I don't think it'll occur the same way for Secret Lair, although just make sure that maybe like a couple days before the 1st, check your emails, check if you're subscribed to the newsletter for Secret Lair, make sure to check that. Here Be Dragons, the Secret Lair that was $150 after taxes and was only limited to 10,000. Beetle and Grimm did an early access for those of you who signed up for the newsletter. So you were able to purchase the product an hour early before other people were.
Ooh.
So if that is something that they are going to do with the Secret Lair, please make sure to check all of your emails regarding that, because one, it is a little shoddy to kind of slip that in there, but that does really kind of show you the ones that pay attention. And I was able to get it an hour early, and I bought 2 before these things sold out. But just double check. I'm not sure whether or not the actual official Secret Lair website will do that, just because the Here Be Dragons one went through Beetle and Grimm, which was a completely different site. But just kind of keep your eye on stuff, because that is going to be kind of an interesting thing. You're not going to want to miss out on that for sure.
You say keeping an eye on stuff. I actually just realized you're wearing a Ghost shirt.
You're damn right I am. I just saw them in concert.
I've got a comment and a question. Comment in the form of a question. Who's your papa? And then also, who's your favorite papa?
Oh, man. I don't know. I really like... I think I have a pretty close tie to Copia, simply because he was the first I saw in concert. But Papa 3 is pretty rad. But I don't know. I think if I'm being entirely honest, I do like Papa 4, Cardinal Copia. Probably my favorite.
Where did you see him in concert, and how are they?
I just saw them in Peoria, Illinois. They were just out here. What was that? Oh, God, like what, a month ago? We just saw them. They were on their tour around the US, and it was amazing. It's the 3rd, 4th time I've seen them now. They're so good. I mean, they're just genuinely. It's such a theatric performance, and all the songs are bangers.
Right.
I highly recommend. If any of you like metal, Ghost is great. So.
Well, folks, my old diabetic ass needs to get some food. My body's screaming at me here. So thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I don't know. Are you guys planning on sticking around, Alex and Pat, to have some
I actually should probably also go get some food, unless Pat had something special planned. But
well, we can have you back on again, right? Like, this isn't your swan song, is it?
Oh no! I think this is my 2nd time on here. If you guys need me for it, and I'm wholeheartedly available, I'd love to come back on. We'll let
the audience conversations. Decide. What do you think about AshenWingz? Should we have him back on? Well, I don't care if you think so or not. We're gonna have him back on.
It's up. Suck it.
I will. The fact I see most of the people. The fact I see most of the people in chat in my comment section all the time, I could only hope that they care enough. But I'm always very thankful. So I appreciate everything you guys do. I love conversating with everybody. I love talking. It's my big thing. As much like Bob, I think I'm a much stronger content creator, and I'm a much stronger, opinionated individual, because I have such an open mind. I love talking with people from all sides of the fence to kind of help generate a more realistic approach towards something. And that's why I love talking amongst the community, because everybody's going to be different. I get information from all sides, and we make it happen either way.
And we thank you for it. That's why I think you're doing so wonderful of late. You're putting out solid content, and it's not just the regular run-of-the-mill stuff. That's why I enjoy watching your stuff. You know, it's not just your fantastic clickable titles and your phenomenal thumbnails. You know, you actually want to, you know, have on for 23 minutes at a time.
Good. I'm glad. It's always good. That's something I struggled with because I've been a content creator for technically like 8 years. But the biggest thing is I didn't start up doing magic stuff until April of this year. But I definitely have gotten to the point where I want, you know, I've gotten a lot of feedback. And before, when I was doing this, I didn't get a lot of that. I was, you know, I didn't get a lot of feedback on how people were enjoying the content, how people were doing this and that and the other. But I think this is the first time since starting content. Well, I mean, not just now, but throughout these past couple of months, I've gotten genuine responses and feedback, and that people have really enjoyed the content that I've made. And that means a lot. So very happy to continue to do that for everybody, because if you want it, I got it.
Well, I enjoy your content personally, and that's not just shilling. I do watch it, and I enjoy having you here. So thank you very much for showing up tonight. And thank you, everybody in chat, especially big shout out to Ed, Dual Brain.
Mhm.
If by some weird chance you don't know about Dual Brain, please go over, check out his channel. He's also, you know, he's a hot topic. He is rising fast in the Magic YouTube community. Go give him a look, folks, if you have not. And for those that are catching this ex post facto, you know, go check out all the content creators here. This has been a wonderful night for me. Thank you so much, everybody in chat, and Pat and Alex. It's been a great night.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Until next time, Pat the Popper, joined by Alex and Bob. Stay well, stay frosty, be good to each other, and be good to yourself.
Peace, everybody.